It's ventilation update day at my house with my dad. It's important to have a helper for these big jobs. So basically, we have a couple of pieces of equipment that I'm decommissioning. That was the dehumidifier that I had to uninstall in a previous video. There's the new one, boop, right back there. This is the Fantech HEPA filter that runs 300 CFM through a HEPA filtration, which has also got a little activated carbon in it for odors. I was challenged by Brett Singer to actually test my house and unplug that thing and see what happens with the air quality. And I did, and the air quality didn't change at all. So I basically promptly unplugged that permanently, and then now we're decommissioning it. We stole a couple of these 8-inch, 90-degree elbows from it, and some flex duct that we'll need over there, because the other thing we're doing is replacing this Fantech SER150s ERV with this Broan 210 AI series ERV. This is a smarter machine. This is kind of best in class right now. The things I didn't like about this one are that it has only MERV 8 filtration max. And you could do things like add a filter box up here, but I may do that in the future. This thing comes with a MERV 13 option on it. It would be nice to not have dust rings around our ERV fresh air outlets. The other thing is that this doesn't have a built-in damper that activates when the unit is off. This one does. In my main house, this is gonna run 24/7, so I should never need that damper. But if we did turn it off for wildfire or something like that, it would be nice to have the thing actually close off and not admit any air from outside. I will be using that feature in the studio system, which I'm also replacing one of these. Now, the reason that we need these things is because that configuration right there is smarter. These two ducts go to outside. So outside is on this side of the ERV. Those two ducts go to inside. That's very nice. And Broan does have an option for that. It's called the Broan 1 ERV. It's about 150 CFM ERV, and it's got the AI built onto it. I've shown that off on this channel. It's slim and it's beautiful and all that stuff, but it's not quite as powerful as I wanted it to be. I wanted more boost capacity on this. So this one is hooked up weirdly. This is the front, and this goes to outside, and that goes to outside, and then this goes into the house, and that goes in the house. So you're gonna need to do, we're gonna have to, you'll see how this works. My dad's making fun of how hard this is to take apart because somebody put so much mastic on this thing that it's glued in place. I do love mastic. This, by the way, people ask me sometimes, I like RCD, I believe is the brand, called Mastic number 6. Wear safety glasses if you're going to be working underneath things in general, but I'm in too much of a hurry. You guys know how it is. So I'd like to point out that this is the incoming airstream, and you can see how many cobwebs there are in here. That's what happens when you put your intake vent outside close to the ground. It's about 4 feet off the ground outside, maybe less. This right here is something that I wanted to point out. The reason that I'm not worried that we're going to take so many 90-degree turns. We're going to do 4 90-degree turns or 2 180s all on the same line. It's all going to be on the exhaust, the extract side of the ERV when we put this one in, is because it's so easy for me to send air out of the house because it's literally 6 feet long, that duct, and it's 8 inches. I always upsize everything, even though this thing is set up for 6 inches. This is set up for 6 inches. Immediately go to 8 because it's twice as big. It'll act a lot better. I had to damper this thing down to choke it as hard as I could so that it would put as much pressure on the outgoing stream of air as there was from the enormously long 30-foot duct with 2, 3, 90 degrees in it. So that was depressurizing the house. The fact that I had the exhaust ducting so simple and the intake ducting so complicated, it was actually sending out more air than it was bringing in, and that's why I had to do this. Really, what you want to do is this. Make it nice and easy. This lowers the sound. It makes the unit more efficient in the case of something like this. So anyway, these are another couple of the features. This one has EC motors in it, ECM. This one didn't have EC motors in it. You just use this choke to say, okay, you can't have as much air as you automatically want to do. Haha, there it is. Finally got it in. It took about half a day with the two of us. So the way that we got it configured right now, and it's not set up yet, so it's not plugged in, fresh air coming in from outside. We got an 8-inch uninsulated because it's so long, they were using what my buddy Ken from Panasonic called passive bleed. So this actually pre-cools or pre-warms the air so that by the time it actually gets into the piece of equipment, it's much different than outside temperature. Over there is the draw from the house. So you can just see it through there. It goes along here and connects to there, drawing from all the bathrooms and the litter box as well. Here's the fresh air being distributed into the house, which is coming from here. And all of these, by the way, just to remind you, this is a 6-inch collar. We immediately upsized to 8-inch. That's what it looks like. And you can see the mastic all over stuff. I still have to come along and make these connections tight. Here's an 8 that we used a plastic collar that you can see right here. We just went ahead and connected right to the plastic collar instead on this one. So we didn't have to upsize to 8 because the 8 connects to that plastic collar. So that then takes a 180-degree turn, flex, solid, back to flex to get around all this craziness to go outside. So that, ladies and gentlemen, is why having it set up on the new Broan 1, where outside is on this side, inside is on that side, is better, because otherwise you end up doing this. I think that if I was going to give you a piece of advice, it would be use the one with the top ports, because if you're going to make all these crazy 90-degree elbows, might as well just do one on every single one and consider that it'll just go off where you want it to go. All right, my little control wall. I got my CO2, my AirNet 4 is missing. Fan control, lights. This is Mitsubishi. Here's my new, this is called the Advanced Wall Control, and I'm pretty excited about this actually. What is cool here, I've been standing next to this air things for 15 minutes and it's like, you stink. Okay, so what I like about this is you can set up which airflow station you want to do on this continuous mode. It's very simple, yes, no kind of a thing. I have humidity control off on this because I've got the Santa Fe controlled by a separate dehumidostat. So in modes, you can set up smart mode, which I don't personally, I'm not a big fan of. We've got recirculate, definitely not a fan of that most of the time. Intermittent, that may be appropriate for something like, for example, my studio space. That would be fine, or like a demand controlled kind of a thing. But in the house, we're gonna use it in continuous mode because it is the bathroom and litter box exhaust strategy. So turbo, away, scheduling, power, obviously those are all pretty clear. But here, the settings, this is what I was hoping for. Filter maintenance, day and time, preferences, language. Preferences is pretty simple. It's just like, hey, how bright do you want this display to be? Do you want it to be in Celsius or Fahrenheit? Auxiliary control, we don't have one of those for a separate control, but what we also have here is installation. And it says, hey, first time you put into this, it goes, hey, just FYI, this is for professionals only. Be careful. Now, if you've watched my 40-minute video about this, then you know how to get around the settings in here. But I do want to proceed. And what is cool about this is that I can actually go ahead and adjust the max, medium, and minimum on this from here and not down at the ERV. I love that. So I've got it set up for 130 continuous. And I love that I've got room now to play with that. Max is 175, which is more than what we had before. I have a standalone system. It's called a T1 system. And again, all of this is explained inside that 25-minute long video about this control system. Filtration options, I have just the standard filter in there. I'm going to get the MERV 13 filters. That's one of the things that I wanted to do with this. Humidity control, again, I'm not gonna worry about that because I don't want this thing responding to any humidity cues at all. So right now we're running 76 degrees at 48% relative humidity. We have continuous ventilation, both extract and supply. It's balanced with a real EC motor. So each of those motors now is detecting and testing itself twice per second, which I love because I'm a testing guy. I can't possibly test it twice per second. So we're about to do the same thing on the studio, at which point I'm probably gonna set up the studio again on an intermittent or on a demand control, meaning it says, like this is saying right now, hey, it's stinky in here, get away from me. Or, hey, you stay right where you are. I'm gonna bring in some more fresh air. We'll take care of you, it's all right. Now that this thing is running, I really don't see what people are so upset about with the noise. It's one complaint that people have had about this Broan AI is that it's loud. And I think, now that I've got this thing installed, two things. Number one, I think people are sizing their ERV so that they're running at full speed all the time. That probably would be loud. So you don't want to do that. You want to size it so that you're running at like 60% capacity all the time. And then when you need it, you can boost up to higher than that. That's cool. Also, I could turn down to 65 CFM, half of what I'm running all the time right now for when we're on vacation and I just want to keep some circulation running. That'll give me about one air change every 5 or 6 hours in the house. The other thing is that if you wanted to, on the supply that runs into the house there, you could put an 8-inch silencer. Fantech makes one of these. There are several companies that make them, and they're like $200. So if you really wanted to make it quieter, and by the way, probably the noise that people are complaining about isn't the box, it's the outlets, which don't put any outlets too close to this machine. You want to be able to let the sound dissipate over time. But if that was a problem, you could again put a silencer right there on that line. This is what it sounds like out of the nearest supply from the ERV. Master bedroom. Guest bedroom, and you can see the dust ring around it from the old filter system. And kids' bedroom. So after we plugged this thing in and we ran it for a day or two, I started noticing that actually it is a little louder than I want it to be, which is something that people had mentioned in the video that I made about the AI system and all the programming. So I'm happy to know that, and the solution is actually pretty easy. It is an inline silencer. This thing is $150 from Fantech. This is the LD8 because I'm ducting with 8-inch. If you did a 6-inch, it would be an LD6. So pretty affordable. It's lined with rock wool. It does not inhibit airflow. So the silencer is just going to cut down on the sound that's basically coming from the source. So if I talk into the silencer itself, the noise that we're hearing downstream is not the noise of restriction of airflow, because as we already mentioned, we upsized immediately coming out of this thing. The restriction is not the problem. It's not a hissing sound of air trying to move when it's being restricted. And it's not necessarily a hum from an electrical, like from a compressor. This doesn't have a compressor, and it's just two fans that sound like this. I mean, you can hear it when this thing is running. What I think is going on, I went to music school and I studied some audio, and reverberations building up, so we called like, standing waves, and by the time it gets to certain outlets, certain frequencies have been amplified or not, and then the sound is different coming out of each one. So I think it's just a reverberation thing, which this silencer will be able to fix, because it'll take those sound waves as they're going through and just cut them off immediately. That way, by the time it gets down to the outlets, it's not as much of an issue, and you shouldn't be able to hear very much at all. We'll see. What we're going to do is put it on the fresh air side. This is only a one-sided approach, because the way that the ERV works is it's pulling air through the core. And so the fan for the fresh air is on this side. It's the last thing that happens before the air gets sent into the house. And it's not necessarily the noise of the box itself, by the way, for those of you who are putting this box inside of a closet in your house or something like that. It's the noise out of the registers downline. And so since the fan is right there, we're gonna need to put this silencer in line there. We don't need to worry about it on the exhaust side, because number one, you can't hear it. And the reason that you can't hear it is because, secondly, the fan is pulling through the core. So in order to get at that sound, you have to come all the way down the duct. You have to take these turns to get around. You have to go through the core, and then you have to go to the fan. So all that stuff in the line is basically acting as a silencer that's built in. You would only really have this problem, I think, when you have an independent ducted ERV system like I do, which means that the duct system is completely detached from the conditioning ductwork. If you plug this thing in here, which is what I would recommend for a lot of people, especially if you plug it into the return side, you get an extra layer of filtration, as long as you don't have a filter grill, and there's more talk about that on the channel. Then you inject the air, it turns into the airstream, mixes, goes through another filter, then gets conditioned and distributed throughout the house. That's a more elegant and simpler way. And if I was going to build this house again, that's probably the way that I would go. The second thing is that the unit comes with MERV 8 filters built in. MERV 8 is to protect the equipment to protect the core, not necessarily to protect your family. MERV 11 is basically where we start really protecting human health. And so you can upgrade to a MERV 13. This is an upgrade on the smaller size 160 CFM. And this does not fit. These things are $42 a piece for the smaller size. So guaranteed they're gonna be more expensive on the top. And so what we have here is an inline filter. This is gonna be a bigger box that we're gonna put in on the incoming side, and I'll put it as early as possible so we can get all the bugs and stuff out of the way before the air comes down, comes close. And we are able to put a much bigger MERV 13 filter. I found these online, very easy. This is a 2 filter pack. These are more affordable and also bigger, which does 2 things. Number 1, it reduces the static pressure drop, which we're always worried when we're talking about airflows and ductwork. We want less clogging of the airflow. And number 2, it means I have to replace this thing a lot less often. So we're looking at, instead of coming down here and replacing this, inspecting it and replacing it maybe every 2-3 months tops, we're looking at this. I could probably run for 3 months or more, and I'll be able to experiment with this and find out. But of course, the MERV 13 is gonna take a fair amount of stuff out, so it will capture a lot. It's grabbing large particles like dust, grass clippings, pollen, and also very small particles, which would come from stuff like traffic outside. So there's my dad. Here it is, all in. This is the 8-inch, and it's got a rubberized flange on it, but we will of course mastic this and all the other joints. And now the sound with the silencer on. So we found an interesting issue. This is obviously the way it's supposed to be, and the door hinges upward, right? But if we've got the way that this is set up, it comes in like that, all the particulates will land on the filter, and it would be really convenient if we could do it this way instead, where particles fall out. You know, they're encouraged to like not sit on the filter itself. Like this one, for example, the Fantech, the makeup air system is that way, right? So you get the stuff coming in and kind of dumping on the ground. That way it's really easy to vacuum out. But the problem is that if we flip that so the door is on the back side, if I get hit by a bus, no one in my family is gonna know that there's a filter there, so that's probably never gonna get changed. So that's what it is. So anyway, just so you know, if you're ordering that AC Infinity, it's set up on one particular axis, and you might wanna think about that. All right, guys, so the fresh air comes in from outside at garden level, and it goes all the way down to there where the filter used to be. The outside of this is just a bird screen. What in the hell is that? Oh my God, look at this. Isn't that amazing? Look at all that. That's from 3 years of having it be at garden level. Woo-wee! This is where the new filter goes. I'm very excited about this. I hope that you guys have found this interesting. This technology will continue to evolve. There are, of course, like pluses and cons to every single system out there. Just remember, dilution air is only one of the elements of ventilation. You've got 5 factors always: circulation, capture, and filtration. Capture is the bath exhaust, which this is handling now. Humidity control, which this is not doing. Dilution air, and then pressure relief. So make sure that you're addressing all 5 of those things. Please do comment below if you have anything else to add about these systems. Like and subscribe. Tune in next time.